I'm Irving. Welcome to Kato and that guy who doesn't drive. Mike Axford is at a Freeway construction site buying information from a night watchman. Somebody is running a construction insurance racket and the watchman knows who. Mike wants the name
of the man behind the construction company insurance racket.
Show me the money first.
What's that?
Bulldozer.
And it's obvious what it's doing. Get out of there. You can move faster than it can. Get out of there. That's gonna help a lot. The dozer runs the shack down and the watchman is killed. Mike manages to dig himself out, whereupon the bulldozer starts after him. The Green Hornet saves Mike's bacon again, and Mike is still the paper's biggest crusader against the evil Green Hornet. The Green Hornet helps Mike to his feet, bundles him into the Black Beauty, and they drive away.
Did you get it?
Get what?
The name of the man behind the construction company insurance racket.
He was killed before he could tell me.
Then I have a proposition for you. I want the name, too. If we work together, we can get it.
I wouldn't work with you if...
Shouldn't you discuss that with your employer first?
I don't have to ask him. I know Britt Reed. I know what he'd say.
Do it, Mike.
I think Mike just dropped his teeth. All his protests are in vain. Reed orders him to do whatever the Green Hornet tells him to.
I think I'll pay Mr. Crown a visit.
Why?
Crown's too clever to buy Mike as a turncoat. Unless the publisher of the Daily Sentinel sets up the sale.
He meets Mr. Crown out at the latest construction site.
You say this, night watchman my reporter claims to have met here last night quit his job 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, actually, I had to fire him. He got in the habit of bringing his lunch in a bottle, if you know what I mean. Maybe your reporter came up with that story out of a bottle, too. What did you say his name is?
Axford, Mike Axford.
Reed hints that maybe there's some truth to that.
There's another problem, though. He asked for and received $1,000 to buy the information.
Maybe put it in his pocket. It's been known to happen.
Could be. He hasn't been himself lately since he started working on this, construction insurance racket story.
That brings us to the main topic he wanted to talk about.
Well, I don't really have much opinion about him one way or the other.
But you do have a policy with Mammoth Insurance Company, don't you?
I'd rather not talk about it, Mr. Reed. I can't afford any trouble on this job. I got a deadline to meet. If I start having accidents and breakdowns, I don't finish on time, I lose my shirt. Now, why don't you give up? You can't win.
Well, when I start a fight, I like to finish it.
He seems scared, or at least nervous. Reed heads back to his car. He stood in that one spot and gave you every opportunity, and you still missed.
Are you all right? Just barely. Would you call that one of those accidents?
That was beyond stupid. Now it's obvious to Reed that Crown is hiding something and he's ready to kill to protect it. That right there is enough for him to go to Scanlon and get a search warrant for everything but Crown's underwear. That night, the Black Beauty picks up Mike Axford.
Where are we going?
To the Mammoth Insurance Company. When we get there, all you have to do is look wise and agree with everything I say. Understand?
I'm not sure Mike can handle either of those, but he'll do his best. In a conference room at Mammoth Insurance, a bunch of suits are discussing how to squeeze more money out of the construction companies. That's going to hurt the next morning, and the next morning, and the next morning. And the Mike. When that's done, he tells Giles, the head man, that they have some information to sell.
We thought we'd give your employer the first chance to buy it.
What are you talking about? My employer?
The man that really runs Mammoth Insurance.
Well, you're talking to him.
Don't waste time, Giles. You're neither smart enough nor tough enough to run a racket like this, and we know it. Don't we?
Yeah.
Way to look wise, Mike.
Call him.
Hello? Yeah. The Green Hornet.
Somewhere out there, in this great and infinitely diverse sea of humanity, there is someone who didn't see that coming.
And maybe they're just bluffing.
No, Axford being there might figure. Britt Reed says he's a lush and he's got money problems.
It worked in spite of Mike's bad acting.
Wiggins did talk. Why, maybe Axford figured he'd hook up with the Green Hornet and cash in big once and for all. Now, listen. Ask him if it's okay if we contact Axford to set a time and a place for tomorrow night.
That should give us plenty of time to set up a trap. He'll never suspect it.
He wants to meet with you tomorrow night. Now, he'll be in touch with Axford. We'll let you know where and when.
That's fine, but don't get cute.
I don't know, he's already kind of cute with that mustache and all.
The Green Hornet said not to try anything.
I'm not gonna try anything. I'm just gonna do it.
Do or do not. There is no try.
We don't need the Green Hornet anymore. When this guy Giles calls and tells me where and when to also meet me...
want any more argument, Mike. We started this with the Green Hornet, and we finish it with him. Is that clear? I asked you a question, Mike. Is that clear?
Yeah!
Do you really think he's going to just give in? You know he's going to try to go it alone no matter what you say, so it might be a good idea to start tailing him now. Instead, Britt takes some work with him and goes home. Later, Mike is looking for him when he gets the call.
Axford, this is Clinton Giles. Meet me in front of my office building at 10 o'clock tonight.
Okay, now follow your instructions. Wait for the Green Hornet to call. You know the drill.
Hello?
Axford?
Yeah.
The Green Hornet.
Have you heard from Clinton Giles yet?
Axford?
Just get it over with.
No. No, I haven't heard from Giles.
Well, I'll check back with you in about an hour.
Thank you. Stupid accomplished.
Mike? Are you leaving?
Yeah. And if you talk to the boss, give him a message from me. Tell him I don't need the Green Hornet to wrap up the construction racket story.
Mike? Those aren't Mr. Reed's orders, Mike.
Mr. Reed's orders. Look, Casey, it galled me to do business with the Green Hornet. Now I've got a chance to wrap this up without him.
Tell him I'm going to meet racketeers who have already killed one man. I'm going in unarmed and alone, and I expect to come out. Tell him I'm an idiot.
Well, what difference does it make, with him or without him?
Just this. I've been on this paper a long time. Some people think maybe too long. Now I've got a chance to show those young punks who snicker when I walk through the city room that I'm still the news hawk I was 30 years ago.
That came out of nowhere. Nobody has ever brought up such a topic before. If anybody snickers as he walks by, it's probably because he's ranting about the Green Hornet, not because they think he can't cut it anymore. In any case, she can't stop him. A car full of goons takes him to Crown while the Green Hornet and Kato try to figure out what to do.
Before that bulldozer hit the shack last night, the night watchman told me that you were the one behind the construction company insurance racket.
So what?
Well, I'm tired of working for Britt Reed for peanuts. So for, say, $10,000.
That's all. A guy who was really tired of working for peanuts and wanted the big score would ask for $100,000 at least. Mike sells himself really cheap.
I'm willing to forget what Wiggins told me.
You think I'd go for a shakedown like this? I'd pay you once and you'd bleed me white.
No,
Take
no,
care.
I wouldn't. No, no. All I want. Wait, fellas. No, don't. Fellas.
Somewhere out there in this great and infinitely diverse sea of humanity, Mike Axford is the only one who didn't see that coming.
Just let me hold it.
The Green Hornet. Get him!
Mike's getting away.
Let's hope he makes it.
Mike finally did something smart. With him more or less clear, they can go to work on the bad guys.
Look.
They're coming at us from all directions.
Or vice versa. We've seen the rockets blow the blade off one of those things, so I hope he has plenty of them.
Activate the Hornet mortar.
A little quick maneuvering and more rounds from that mortar and the bulldozer threat is neutralized.
That does it.
Not quite.
We have to mess with these guys a little first. One carload of flunkies takes off, someone will pick them up later. Kato drives down to where the big boys are trying to get into another car. And Mike got away. Good for him. He wants to see Kato in action.
They're all yours, Axford.
He got it. And at least he didn't try to hit anybody this time. I stand corrected. In the epilogue, Britt is getting after Mike for disobeying orders.
Who says I didn't cooperate with him?
Mike, I gave him your message about you wrapping up the Mammoth insurance story all by yourself.
Well, that was just a little joke.
A joke?
Yes. You see, everything worked out just like the Green Hornet and I planned it.
Put on your rubber boots, it's about to get deep in here.
I told the Green Hornet that Emmett Crown had probably set some sort of a trap for us.
You told the Green Hornet that?
Right. So I said maybe I better meet with Crown alone. That way the Green Hornet could move in later, in case it was a trap and I needed help.
Sure, because all he's got is weapons and a bodyguard and a bulletproof car, so you're clearly the logical one to send into the lion's mouth.
I see. That's very smart. I wonder why the Green Hornet didn't think of it.
Let me tell you something. That crook isn't as smart as some people think he is.
Well, it's a good thing you used your head.
Yeah, it sure is. I'll see you later.
Okay, Mike.
Casey is beside herself. How can he let Mike get away with a tale like that? Britt says, what's the alternative?
Why didn't you let me tell him? Oh, come on.
And spoil his fun? Never. Come here. Look at this.
How can you rain on a parade like that? Sometimes I think he goes a little too easy on Mike, but then an episode like this comes along and I understand Mike a little better and I see why Britt is so tolerant. And walking right into it like that shows Mike has some stones, even if he does tend to think with them a little too much. Until next time.